Hi everyone, Alex is here. Offline, online, hybrid. Let's discover. So firstly, why do we have such question? Mostly because we have a quite huge market right now that we can discover whatever we want, hybrid, offline, off-site, like everything. And the problem here that in each of these moments we have a problem. We have new trend. And that's why we should understand what is happening in this sphere, what companies are offering for us, and what we can get, and what will be better for us. So let's start with, for example, offline or on-site working. So on-site means that we'll be working inside of the company's headquarters. It can be, in any case, like firstly, important thing. Headquarter is not the only one thing. So we have headquarter, we have campuses, and basically, I'm not very on that, but as for me, as I'm thinking about that, headquarter mostly is when the most important decisions are taken. For example, let it be Apple's park. For my opinion, that's headquarters. But they have a lot of campuses. What does it mean? If you will go, for example, to work on Apple, it doesn't mean that you will be working at that Apple park. Probably you'll be working at one of the campuses. It's like a building, it can be owned by the company or it can be leased. A lot of even quite famous companies, Google, Meta, Apple, Amazon, they can lease offices for their co-workers that are living in a specific place. And that's okay. Sometimes it's better for them. So that's why we have this question. And when we're talking about campuses, a lot of people, when they're going, for example, for Apple, they want to go to Apple Park, but they're assigned at campus that is somewhere. Yes, some people who know this company wanted to work there, they can know that places, but mostly not of us know that. We know only the headquarters. But a lot of other people think that all the campuses are headquarters. Like, for me, that's different. You can write your ideas in the comments. That's just personal, my thoughts about that. And in any case, first thing, that when you're going to the company, you can be demotivated to work at some famous place where there can be a sign, or this famous Apple Park or Googleplex, for example. They have, like, it's most, as I remember, it's mostly for entertainment, for discovering the Google products, but probably, as I remember, they have also offices inside, and they have campuses nearby. And there is one more important campus that is mostly on the photos, etc. And you can think that you'll be working there, but in reality, you're working in another office at San Francisco that no one knows about. That can demotivate a little bit, but mostly of such companies, they agree you to go to the main campuses, to work there sometimes, and probably with some time you'll be working at your assigned campus. Why? Because your team mostly will be there. So you are assigned to campus not by your wish, mostly, but with your team. If your team is located at that place, they will be there. And basically it just works like where all of the people are working, and the system tries to discover the most optimal system, or their management who discover that. I don't know, honestly speaking. That's how I think it works. And in any case, this on-site working have their benefits and really some cons. So firstly, what is incredible here? You work with your team. Firstly, directly, it's faster. Secondly, it's easier to understand your team. So when you're working on-site or offline, how you wanted to call it, you will always understand the mentionality of the team. Like, how do they think? They have a problem. How huge is this problem? And it's much faster to understand the culture of such things. Also, it depends on the company, but you can have free, for example, lunch, breakfast, dinner. You can have some entertainments. You can have, for example, some on-site things, for example, washing, gym, a lot of other things. Like, it's once more time, it depends on the company, because some companies can just list an office and they can be nothing, and others can just create their own office and there can be everything. So it depends. And mostly, I think you can find it even online. I wasn't finding that. Yeah, so if you want to try that, I don't know how it will work. And that's benefits. So I think if you can choose which format to take, on-site will be the best if you have a lot of the time. You wanted to spend this time in this work. For example, you really wanted to make something new at Amazon and you wanted to investigate all your time there, and it will be much comfortable. Really, like, you have everything from breakfast to dinner to washing to gym, like all the essential needs. First care, some repairs, like I think everything nearly. Some of them even have dental clinics, as I know. So all of that, better to go to on-site. But here we have some problems. First one, it's people. Yeah, it's benefit and it's also con here. Problem is people. Sometimes it's not comfortable for you to work them. It doesn't mean that they're bad co-workers. It means that you have a feeling that I would like better to work in another room, or just to speak with them online during home staying. That's the problem. And we cannot discover that. So we can discover that with interview with team leaders, managers, but we cannot fully understand how it will be in reality. So that's the question. But you can also be like not to take idea what is going outside of your, for example, desk. It also works. You can also not go into lunch, dinners to talk with them. It works, but that's not so comfortable. The next thing, it's harder to go to an office mostly. Like, not a lot of us are near our office. It depends. Some of offices have shuttles, some not. So it depends. But most of the companies, I think, that are not Monk, for example, they don't have shuttles, and you should take your car to go there. Is additional expenses. So it's a question. I think the next thing that can be also bad here, it's when you cannot understand, for example, how to work in an office. Everything can distract you. Like, it can ruin your ideal benefit of working. It can be, because offices are different, and sometimes your office can be in like co-working space with others people and that are not in this your team, and it can be really tough. So that is a problem. Also, you have less flexibility in your work schedule, of course, because you have stable working, and if you should go, for example, somewhere at one point, it will be harder for you. But it's not so big problem if you're working nearby and you can leave an office whenever you want to. But that's a problem. Also, you have problem when you're finding this vacation. You just cannot be working at some place because you're too far away, or it's too far away for you to go, or they're offering you to move, and sometimes you don't want to move your place. That can work. Who knows? But there's some problems. But also I remember some benefits, and I have also written them, so I will also tell you. You have access to some resources of the company, and that's important. For example, one upon a time I should print something, and I was able to do that at my office. So that's incredible. Also, you have strict understanding work and not to work. You're coming at home, it's totally different story. You're relaxing finally, everything's good. You can feel that home atmosphere. So that's offline. Online, the biggest trend was. Let's talk about that. So I think most of the works you will be able to find online. Why? Because after COVID, everything was changed. So companies understood that they shouldn't take a lot of money to the office and they can just start faster. So most of the startups, they're online. And at least they're beginning online. Because it's easier, it's less expenses, and we have technologies for that, that's all. Of course, it's flexibility. You can work when you want, how you want, but okay, honestly speaking, we have mostly time range from where we should work until which time we should work. But most of the companies, if they're not startups, first, like, it's a problem of the login time. When you're in office, it's quite easy. You can just, like, the place when you can come, like the time when you can come and time when you can leave. That's all. Like, it's cool. But here we have different systems. So first, everything is monitoring, is tracking. That's quite hard, tough, and that's a problem, especially when it's young startup. They will take every penny that they're taking because it's important to them to save as much money to invest them into the company. So that's logically here. When you have a little bit upper level startup, for example, you'll have more range of flexibility because such startups understand that the most important thing for your company is to solve the problem. And when you will solve that problem, it doesn't matter to them. That's the main idea. And in such situations, time ranges are not very important, and also it depends on your team. So your team can have different time schedules, so it works on that. That's for sure. Also, you can work from any place in the world. I had such situation that I was forced to work in different locations, even different countries, but was still able to work because it's online. So that's quite important here. But that depends on the station, where you are, what is happening near you. So that's important here. Also, you have great economy of your money because you're not taking expenses to go, for example, somewhere. And I think sometimes you can just save more on working online. Like, it depends. Like, if you have offline work that they have lunch and breakfast, you will probably less. Like, you have more expenses because you will be eating that in the home, and it will have more expenses probably than your fuel back and forth. Yeah, once more time. It depends. Also, you have better, of course, work-life balance. Everyone is talking about that because you can understand that you're not in the resources, for example, and you cannot work, for example, this time, but you will work that little bit after your main schedule. It works. It depends on the company if they're okay with that, because some companies it's important to done the job, not just lock a time. But for most of the startups, for example, it won't work such way. So it depends. And also you're living at home, so it's like working and living at home, so it's just easier. Everyone's saying that it's better work-life balance, but we'll talk about that. Also, you have like wider vacancies, like possibilities to take. And you can think that's good, for example, benefits. But let's talk about cons. Maybe we'll take some more pros during the time we're talking about cons. Let's talk about better work-life balance. It's not so, because you'll be always distracted by your home things. If you're not have anything automated and someone like who is doing most of your homework, you probably will have to do that. From taking the breakfast, to take your clothes to the laundry, to clean something, everything can just mess you up. You can just thinking, oh, maybe I can just scroll a little bit of TikTok. It's okay to have a little bit relaxing because it in any case it will boost your productivity finally. But we still have this problem. Like, it doesn't matter that we want to relax a little bit. We still should have a work, and if we will be doing that for some hours, that won't help us. So, and then you can have the feeling, oh, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, I should do, it's my work, but I can't concentrate, and this problem is concentration. That's the main thing here. You should understand that working at home, that's good, but concentration, that's the problem that you must to solve. Concentration. So if you can have discipline, that will be your benefit. Otherwise, not. It will be con. Also have social isolation, but that depends on the people. Sometimes likes this, someone not. In any case, it's, as I know from some discoveries, it's better to talk with people. But that depends which person are you. So maybe you wanted it, maybe not. So it depends. Also, it will be harder to divide your personal life with your work. You can think, okay, I will work just from this time to this time at this place. Maybe it can work. But when you see that something is distracting you, you will 100% ruin this thing, and you, oh, my laundry is done, I should take it somewhere, or oh, I should have a breakfast or dinner, lunch, and after that I should like clean here a little bit up, oh, I wanted to order this one, this thing, and you will waste more time, not concentrated. So that's what I'm talking about, dividing the personal life, work. Will be harder, as for me. You can think how you want to. And the last thing, that it will be harder with communication. But this one can be also pros. Why? I will tell you, one sec. Let's talk about communication line. Why it's worse? Because you don't have this team feelings. You cannot go to have a pizza like just what mom, and you cannot order sushi and to talk about something during the lunch. Yes, most of you won't do that. Like, won't be able to do it. But as you remember, the problem from the previous one, from offline, with some people, it's better to be online. So sometimes it can be easier for you to work online. Also, mostly it means that if you're working online, most of your coworkers, they will be much more relaxed, because when you're in office, you're more stressed. Honestly speaking, like a little bit, but I think more stressed. So this relaxing can be good for you to work. So because I have a team that it's incredible to work online. They're incredible, just, and I think that even and also working with them offline, that's also incredible. But working online, that's really incredible. Like, it depends. Everything with people, it's good and bad at the same moment. So one more time, depends on your team. So please take attention to the team. That's important. So we are here, hybrid, the last option. That is, I think, the most popular right now from understanding, I think, middle, senior developers, managers, hybrid. That's ideal place to work. Hold on. Let's talk first about that. Why hybrid is ideal right now? Because after COVID, a lot of people understood the problem with online. So it was incredibly popular. A lot of offices have been closed. And if you have seen on the news, they have been reopened. Why? Because there was a lot of problems with these concentrations and everything that I told you before. Because before that, people have been working in office and they always wanted to work at home, but they even couldn't imagine that it's possible. But right now it's possible. And after they have been working, they understood that a lot of couples also have been ruined because of that, because they have been working online, have been working together, and living together, and they're not so, it's not so comfortable to them to work so. So hybrid, when it was created, an idea here, it was like it's golden middle, and that's all. It can take benefits from both of them and create something incredible. Firstly, you can have social connections in any case. So if you have people with whom you like to work, half of the time you'll be working them online, for example, if it's preferred one. The second half you will be working offline, but this problem won't be so noticeable because half of the week you're working with them online, and that's comfortable for you. It's better planning for you how to work at home, at an office, and it's better for you to plan your week, for example. And in general, that's like better model to balance between your work and personal life. That's how it thinks to be. Like you're not annoyed to be only at one place. It's problem in both of those variants, offline and online, because you're working at only one variant. Here you can like change that and it can be interesting for you, maybe, who knows. But it doesn't mean that this way doesn't have problems, because I told you about benefits of this one, and I'm just combining benefits of both of that. But to understand real benefits of hybrid, we should talk about problems here. First one, you have two working spaces. It's good if not, that depends. You can have more expenses on that, and it can be hard for you to change one place to another, because maybe it is easier for you to work at one place for a specific way, and the other one is not working so good, and you will be just looking when you will be able to work, for example, at office. It will be easier for you, or at home. This easier for you. So sometimes you can have like one preferred place, and when you have hybrid, it's harder to you to just bounce in between these two ways. The next thing, planning. It's a good thing. Yeah, you can plan when you will be, for example, because hybrids is a very interesting thing. Sometimes they can be fixed, sometimes they can be flexible. For example, you can visit as many times as you want during the week, or you must visit 2 or 3 times during the week, during Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, for example. Can be. It depends on your team. Even not company. Company and team can have different prefers here. So that's the thing, that it can be fixed and unfixed, so it's now stable here. And when you, for example, have fixed, it still have problem. For example, if you should go somewhere at a specific time, for example, to dental clinics, you cannot, for example. I don't know how it will work in for you in this way. When you have hybrid idea of taking office or not, that's much better as for me, because you can plan when you will be going. For example, you can take your preferred date, but if something will change, you will be able to easily change that. But you not always can predict the future. The next thing, it's harder to work with colleagues. How? You can really have battle between who more often comes to office, because you can make ideal graphic for you, but you see that another person who is taking coming more, he's like more interesting to the company. And that can create such battles, so in any case, you'll be working offline. If your idea is to work the best from all of your colleagues. So it's like a risk of such battle. And basically, when you're working hybrid, you cannot be stable on the eyes of the other people who wanted to sometimes to plan, for example, how to most take the work, how most to take the life, especially if you're a couple. It can be sometimes tough. It can be sometimes tough for you to go, for example, from your loved one if you prefer to work online. For me, right now, maybe hybrid is ideal way, but it depends on the company. They should have money for that. It should be comfortable for you. And in general, right now, there are not only one ideal way to work how. First thing, you should understand how it does work for you, if hybrid works or not. And to plan your graphic, if you can change that, how it will be working, because here you should think about two types of work. It's like two times harder to create a perfect schedule for you. So you should think about that, really. Conclusions. There are not ideal places for everyone. And if you even know your preferred place, it depends on the team. Yeah, so that will be the last thing that I want to tell you. First, you should understand your prefers. Want you to go to an office, not. And you can have condition. If they have lunch, I will go to an office. If they have shuttles, I will go to an office. If they're not shuttles, I won't go to an office, for example. So you can have condition which variant to take. You must understand what will be better for you. But if you have such level of specializing that you can choose, because for example, some people are on the beginning and they cannot take higher than just starting startups or something where they can have only one way. So that will work if you really can choose your preferred place. It can be chosen by a company, they can ask you, or you just know that you can just apply a lot of the companies and with different styles. So yeah, you should understand what is preferred to you. But if you even know what it will be, the main criteria here will be people with whom you're working. If it's good to work with them offline, it will be incredible for you. If you see that it's really those kind of people who are not very liked that you're here, mostly online will be your choice. If for example there are a lot of different kind of people that are coming from the different times, like this day they're coming here, this office, sometimes they're at home, and when it's really better for you to work, yeah, hybrid will be better case here. So to my mind, it's important to see on your team. If you have possibility not, for example, to speak a lot with them and to work mostly independent, in such case I don't even understand why you have such choose, like you can just work online basically, and I don't even know. It really depends. And to my case, you should just understand what do you like, what I have condition, for example, to such thing. And for me, it also depends on the people. It can be different for you, of course. But if you didn't think about that, try to think how your life will be changed if, for example, people with whom you wanted to speak more, you will be able to see them offline. Maybe it will work. Or for example, when you don't like someone at your office, it's okay also how your work will be if you'll be working online with them. Think about it. Also, people are different online and offline. How to check that? I don't know. Maybe you can just live and understand people. That's a problem. That's a problem how to understand people. No one knows, I think. If you can experiment, that's good. But I think when you choose a company, just go with your feelings. They can sometimes understand better. Or not, that also depends on you. So, in any case, with such interesting thoughts and just opened close, I want to say thank you for you. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate being you here and want to ask you, just write comments, what do you think? Maybe you have any ideas, what to change, and really, I appreciate that you're here. All the best for you. Bye.